And most people have tough stories. The rape victims want to feel like theirs is the worst story. But most people I met have had fucking bad stories. Most people want to tell me their bad stories. Most people have. This is a life of half and half pleasure, half pain. So most people have had tragedy and trauma and discomfort. And the freedom is right here, right now. It's not found in sorting it out in time. Life is so messy and brutal and bloody and beautiful and divine and pretty. And love is the end of that one that's trying to get out of it. And it's so crazy that the freedom is in the rape, not trying to avoid the rape. It's not saying that the body doesn't fight. That's not what's being talked about. It's the end of that seeking energy. And in that moment of being raped, of being brutalized, the freedom is in it. And it's horrific and awful. I'm not denying that in a sense. It's bloody and painful and brutal, but the freedom's in the sensation of it. It's not the trying to get away in dreamland. But that's not saying the body doesn't fight like hell. More than likely the body will. But right here, there's absolute freedom always in every situation, in death, in brutality, in murder, in rape. And that's what's being pointed to, this radical, beautiful message that you don't have to be rich, you don't have to have a privileged life, you don't have to have a good background, a bad background, a successful background, an unsuccessful background, in order for this to be heard. You don't have to be clever. You don't have to be good. You don't have to be bad. The freedom is right here, and animals and birds are singing it. Watch. And the animals and birds have it a lot rougher than the humans do in the physical. Animals have it a lot tougher physically. Humans have it a lot tougher because they dream that it's happening to them and that they're somebody in time. But every time you miserably eat, an animal has seemingly in the story been tortured. Because let's be honest, most meat people eat is about cheapness, not about fairness in the flow of things. Animals have it physically very tough, but you watch them and there's absolute freedom there. It's spontaneously happening now, and that's the freedom. And there's pain happening, but there's not this energy that's trying to get out of it. There's just pain and the body trying to move it, but there's not this dreaming in time. This shouldn't be happening to me. Why is this happening to me? He's going to murder and kill me, or he's going to hurt me, or this shouldn't be happening to me. What am I going to tell my parents, or my loved one, or my partner? Whatever it is. But it's in the activity of it. And this is so brutal. And it's so hilariously funny that this white girl, nicely presented, has to speak this. But in a way, maybe a guy couldn't get away with saying this stuff. It would just sound too terrible for a guy to be saying it. But maybe from a young, joyful woman, this can be said. And that's the beauty of non-duality. There's lots of different messages, and it's not that any of them are right. They can't be right. Can't ever be right. But maybe in this pointing, even in the shittest of situations, there can be heard this freedom. That's everywhere, everything. It's divine, and it never leaves you. Everything else comes and goes, but this aliveness, this silence and movement, this silence and sound is free, this aliveness, this beingness, this amness. And it's always here. Whether the plane is crashing, the child's being raped. And I refuse, well, I don't refuse, but this mouth, or this message that's coming out of this mouth, refuses to let you guys off the hook by giving you a fucking hope story. giving you a story of peace in the flow of life. So if you follow this non-duality, then we will find a peaceful world in the future. This message will bring a peaceful society. Fuck that. Hitler said that as well. All the politicians say that, all the religious speakers, most of the people in non-duality, they say, you follow this and it will create a more peaceful future. Fuck it. I'm not going to give you that story in order to make this more bearable to hear. We don't know the future. We know this, and there's one freedom here that's nothing and everything. And if you want somebody that's going to promise you a good land, that's going to promise you a better future, a more peaceful earth, go to politics. Go to Hitler. Hitler promised a much better earth in the future. Go follow your prime ministers, the political leaders, or the spiritual leaders that promise this movement, this message is going to produce a peaceful world. Fuck it. I don't know. Maybe this message will produce a healthful world, but that's not the freedom. That is not the freedom. Dreaming of peace is not the freedom. It's the collapse of the dreaming. And then this is what is. This comes back to life, what was actually happening, rather than seeing this through this foggy, distant veil. And all these people that really react to this is normally because they're scared, which is so understandable. They have to hold on to, I've got to control this. We've got to promise a peaceful world. We've all got to work together to find a peaceful world. But really what they're screaming is, I'm scared. I can't bear this not being controllable. I can't bear not hoping that I'll control this and make this a better tomorrow. This is not controllable. It's absolutely wild. And physical death of the body could come at any moment. And right here, right now, in a way, this is absolute death. Right here, part of this isn't ever happening. And then part of this is everything is happening. Wow, you certainly sparked it off. I kind of love the subject of compassion. In the story of the Lisa dream, Lisa was addicted to doing good and being compassionate and saving the world. Basically, she was petrified of fear and violence. That's all it is, really. I'm sorry to say that. It's such a romantic idea of a peaceful future, but it's just based on fear. That doesn't mean that when that identity, that one in time, doesn't fall, that the body doesn't do nice things, but it's absolutely irrelevant. It's just doing. Even nice isn't a label on it. It's just doing. Nice, not nice. It's just acting. Who knows? Who judges?